What's up, everybody? Welcome to SLC Puck. Guess what? This is big news. This is an exciting thing to say right now. SLC Puck is now officially over the hill. This is episode 40 of SLC Puck. I'm your host, Austin Facer. Yes, I've done all 40 episodes. Yes, I'm going to do 10,000 more. And yes, I can't wait for the start of hockey season. And it's ramping up. It's getting here quick. This week, we're going to see a team representing the Utah Hockey Club take the ice for the first time. We'll tell you all about that. I want to tell you more about the Rookie Faceoff, the little tournament thing they'll be playing in, how to watch the games. If we have time at the end, again, I try to keep these episodes to about 20, 25 minutes. Sometimes I am a little too long-winded and I go over that. Sorry. The content's free. What are you complaining about? But we'll see how that goes. I might have a couple more Central Division opponents to talk about today. But hey, maybe we'll save that for another day. We'll just see how it goes. But again, like I said, you're listening to SLC Puck. This is your day one Utah hockey podcast. And, you know, if you like the show, there's all kinds of ways to support. Obviously, I think liking, commenting, subscribing would be my choices. But if you'd also like to support the show on a financial level and look good as hell doing it, what you can do is go to my little shop here that I've set up, slcpuck.shop, and you can get yourself some merch. And the merch is all very reasonably priced. It's basically at cost, so I make almost nothing off of this, but it's still just fun to see people buy the stuff and support me and all that. If I had to recommend a product for you guys to buy around this time, we're getting into fall, which I would say is arguably the most magical time of the year. I love the fall. It's kind of like when all the major sports seasons are going on. This is like literally the best time of year, I think, because there's going to be a point when all four major sports in the United States are going on, and it's getting close, man. And when that happens, you know, there's a crispness in the air. There's apple cider. There's pumpkin spice lattes. And what you got to do is you got to bundle up in a nice SLC Puck hoodie. I think this is a good one to get. This hoodie's so good. It's the kind of hoodie that if your girlfriend or romantic interest or mistress or whoever, you know, takes this hoodie from your closet and tries to make off with it, you need to stop her. You need to close the door and say, listen, miss, I like you. I like what we're doing here, but you're not leaving my house with this SLC Puck hoodie. It means too much to me. So I'd recommend going this route. But anyway, lots to talk about this week. What's going on now and what's happening in a big way is the boys are back. And I shouldn't say back. They're here for the first time, really. This is their first rookie camp, training camp here in Utah. We're seeing a lot of the players from the Utah Hockey Club make their way into the Salt Lake City area to get ready for their inaugural season here in Utah. And on the ice today was a rookie camp out at the Olympic Oval in Kearns. And let's just start by talking about this. The oval looks awesome, by the way. When they talked about how they were going to pull this off, and again, it is amazing what they're pulling off and how quickly they're doing it. And we consider this. I've been working my little buns off trying to put together a silly little podcast, and all I've accomplished are 40 incredible high-quality episodes. These guys have put together an entire hockey universe in that short amount of a time, and it's amazing to see it come together. The NHL.com had an article where the deputy commissioner in the NHL, whose name escapes me right now, talked about just the incredible accomplishments that this team has done. Already. I mean, they're about to drop the puck on their first game, and they've already found a way to make this work. And it sounds like they're expecting to be able to compete at a very high level. And I think that this is manifested in a big way at the Olympic Oval. And I'm going to flip over to my second screen here. And if you're listening to this in your car on Apple or Spotify, race to your destination quickly, and then flip over to watch the show on YouTube. You'll get more out of it. My guy here, Jake Hatch, works for 1280 The Zone, snapped some photos at a rookie camp here at the Oval. And, man, it's so cool to see how they're pulling this off. I'll show you guys some other pics, too. Let's see, Brogdon Houston, who is writing for Deseret News, covering the team there, has some great shots. It looks like they've got a little hot tub out there outside of their facility right there for the guys to cool off in. It looks like a cheap hot tub, like something you could get at Home Depot, but still something for the guys to have. A lot of what they're dealing with this first year is going to be a temporary, thing until they move into their full-time facilities at what is now the Southtown Mall. Again, I think the signage looks cool on these big windows they have at the Oval. Again, and here's another look at the signage. This is from David Graff, who's a producer, sports producer at Fox 13. So big thanks to those guys for taking these photos, and I'm using them. So this is me thanking them, not saying thank you and not asking for permission and apologizing if I have to. But anyway, I mean, it looks really cool at the Oval, and if you've been to the Oval, you kind of know how it's situated. There's the two hockey rinks within the larger speed skating oval, and I believe that's also surrounded by like a running track. And so knowing that sort of shows you how this is coming together. And I want to zoom in on this picture really quick. This is the guy I have a huge man crush on, General Armstrong, General Manager Bill Armstrong, GMBA, who I did an entire episode about how much I admire this man. But this is him speaking to the media. And you can see behind him this sort of structure that is very new to the Oval. This was not from this. I do not remember this from the last time I was at the Oval, and it's been a few years. But it looks like they built this structure here that's going to house it looks like some offices. I saw another picture of the structure that has like a weight room, a door out to the weight room. So it looks like this is going to be the hockey headquarters for this first year until they get the new facility going out there at the Southtown Mall. And I thought this was really interesting to see. So I'm guessing the idea is that these guys probably have their dressing room in here on this first level, and then they cross through the ice right here, the oval, the speed skating oval, and then make their way onto the rink for practice. And that to me answers a lot of the problems that I had in my mind when I heard that they were going to be practicing at the Oval. Because if you're like a regular average Joe like you or me, or anyone else who's not in the NHL, you know that when you play hockey at the Oval, you spend a lot of time going up and down stairs, to get from the locker room to the ice. And I was like, that's not going to be something that NHL guys are going to be on board for. But it looks like they've remedied that by building the structure here on the main floor and just making it a short walk from there to the rink. So again, nice problem solving there by the Utah Hockey Club. This is how it's going to come together this first year. They're just going to solve problems like this in creative ways until they can move into their permanent structure there. But again, today was the first day of rookie camp. Getting ready for their little tournament out in LA from September 13th through the 16th. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. But kind of the names to watch in this first group, and it's a very prospect heavy group. You're not going to hear, the guys like Logan Cooley or Dylan Gunter, the guys who basically have a roster spot already. Josh Dillon might be in this group. I'll have to check, but it's a lot of these guys who have been drafted very recently. Many, I think almost all of them have not yet made their NHL debut. There's like three names to watch. It's Cole Bedouin and T.J. Ginla, obviously this year's first-round picks from the NHL draft. And then the other one to keep an eye on is Maverick Lamoureux, who was drafted the year before in the first round. He's the 6'7" defenseman that my cousin thinks is really handsome. And I watched interviews with him today, and I get the appeal. He is a handsome guy. He has like a French accent, which I guess heightens the appeal. Would that help? Do you think that would help this show's chances of taking off if I could somehow have some kind of accent? The problem with the show, the show is doing really well. People seem to like this show, but the problem, and I have gotten a compliment on my voice. I got a really nice compliment from someone who left a review on Apple Podcasts. They said my voice is the smoothness of gliding on ice or something, which, by the way, I don't think is true, but thank you very much. Maybe it's the microphone. But if I had an accent like Maverick Lamoureux's, I think that this podcast would take off in a big way. So maybe I'll work on that. I'll be talking to myself in the car. Let's go get the croissant. I'll say that all day until I get the accent. I think that'll help the show. But anyway, excuse me for the rant. I think the other big story today out of rookie camp, I mentioned Tej Iginla as one of the guys in this group to watch. He was held out of camp today, had a bit of like soreness or whatever in his hip, and he's not. I don't think they're expecting him to practice tomorrow as well. So we'll see if he ends up playing in the rookie faceoff when they head to LA, and how that's going to work out. Again, it starts on Friday, so I'm guessing the team will maybe leave Thursday or maybe Friday morning. It's a short flight to LA. And they're going to be playing a group of teams and a little bit of tournament. It's a 7 NHL club, a little bit of tournament. I'm not sure if it culminates in a championship. Doesn't look like it. It looks like it's just a series of games, so it wouldn't be correct to call it a tournament. But the teams there include the Utah Hockey Club, obviously, Los Angeles Kings, Anaheim Ducks, Colorado Avalanche, San Jose Sharks, Seattle Kraken, and the Vegas Golden Knights. So 6 of those 7 teams are going to play 3 times over the weekend. Seattle's just going to play twice. Utah is drawing the first game of this tourney here. I don't know why. Why are they calling it a tournament? Is there a championship to this? I feel like you can't call it a tournament unless there's a championship. Maybe there is. We'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. I have not been able to find a ton of information on this. It's not even really listed on the Utah Hockey Club's website. I was just checking, and that's apparently where this is going to be living as well. It's where it's going to be streamed. So I kind of think it's interesting. There's not a ton of information from the team on that. So, but I found the tournament schedule on the Los Angeles Kings website because they'll be hosting this tournament at their practice facility in El Segundo, California. Utah draws the first game, and it's a good one. Game 1 on Friday, September 13th against the San Jose Sharks, 1 p.m. Pacific time. That's 2 p.m. Mountain time here. Will I be watching while wrapping up my work at my job? Yes, I will. Will I be tweeting about it? Probably. And then for the rest of the games, that first game is going to be kind of interesting, right? But let me just speak on this real quick. They're playing the San Jose Sharks, who, if you've been following hockey the last couple months, and we all have now, right? We're all big hockey fans now. The Sharks drew the first overall pick in the NHL draft, and they took Macklin Celebrini, who's kind of a phenom out of Boston University. Cool story there. He played in the Junior Sharks program, growing up as a young lad. So cool story there. I think his dad is also like a trainer for the Golden State Warriors. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting ties with Celebrini in the Bay Area. So it's cool that he landed there. But anyway, he'll get a lot of attention. That's going to be his, I guess, not professional. It wouldn't be fair to say it's like a professional debut, but he'll be on the ice with fellow professional prospects in this game. So that's kind of a fun one. It's cool that Utah drew that. Then Saturday on the 14th, they'll be playing later in the day. They'll be playing the Kings at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. It looks like Sunday they have the day off, and then they finish up the tournament. I guess we'll see how that shakes out on Monday against the Golden Knights. That'll be at 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m., excuse me. So again, something maybe to enjoy on your lunch break, or what really happens on a Monday at work anyway? Everybody just kind of shows up. Some people are hungover. Some people are just a little disinterested. Some people are like mad at themselves for not calling out sick, on Mondays. I mean, so with the level of productivity already being as low as it's expected to be, it might not be a bad idea to just tune into the game. Get some people around your cubicle, pop some popcorn in the break room, grab some soda pops from the vending machine, and take in a little bit of hockey, a little bit of Utah versus Golden Knights. Yeah, and besides, what's the new thing? You have two monitors, right? I mean, one's for work, the other is for things that actually matter. The hockey game. That's not a bad way to go. Is that what I'll be doing? I think my boss watches this podcast sometimes, so no, absolutely not. It's not what I'll be doing. But but you people who have jobs that aren't important like mine, you can and should be doing that. I'm joking, by the way. Anyway, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And these games are apparently going to be streamed on the Utah Hockey Club's website. Again, it's a little interesting right now. There's not a ton of information. We're talking to you right now on Wednesday, September 11th, 2024. So, yeah, again, I was looking at the Utah Hockey Club's website, not seeing a ton of details on that. I'm guessing they'll just have like a a video player, like right here in we call this the hero image right here on websites. So I'm guessing that'll be easy to find, when the game is actually playing. But it feels like this could be also a little bit of a test for what to expect out of Seg Media. And I've been seeing people ask this question a lot on social media, in the Facebook groups, on Twitter, which is Twitter. It's not X. It always will be to me. A lot, on Reddit, all this stuff. People are like, where do I get the games? The games are going to be on channel 16, and I understand that's hard to find. So here's what I'm going to do for you people real quick, and then we'll come back to this press release. Let me show you this. This is a useful little link here on, if you go to utah16.com, find where to watch Utah 16. Look at this. So it's got the Utah availability right here. And then I'll just move this over as we're talking here. So local broadcast, you can get this in an antenna. If you just, hook this up to the back of your TV, hook up the other end of the antenna to like the window or whatever, you can get this over the air for free. It's on KUPX, Salt Lake City, which is run by Scripps, which is the same broadcasting company that runs Fox 13. So you'll see a lot of Utah Hockey Club coverage on Fox 13 because Scripps is doing the broadcasting for them. But you'll also the other ways to find it. It's a little tricky, and this is what I'm going to give you guys a recommendation here. It says here, DirecTV, you can get it. It's just channel 16. But the streaming platforms, I know a lot of people are cutting cable, myself included. It looks like there's only really two options to get Utah 16. One being DirecTV stream, the other being Fubo TV. Now, if I had to choose between these two, just based on cost and other things, I would probably recommend to you guys to sign up for Fubo. I wish I had an affiliate link for you guys. I'm hoping to get that maybe some point in the future because that'd be a great way to support the show. But I think Fubo is probably the way to go when it comes to finding ways to cut cable and get your Utah Hockey Club. I believe it's like $75 a month, and I think there's like a promo. Again, not taking any money from Fubo, but I wish I were, and maybe I should be. I think they might have a promo offer, gets you like $25 off the first couple months or something. So I would say Fubo is the way to go. If you can split it with some friends, split it with your roommates, that's something to look into as well. But I would say Fubo is also a great option if you're a sports fan in general. You should be able to get ESPN, a lot of the other regional sports networks. I believe you can also get NHL Network on there as well, so you can get all kinds of good hockey content, throughout the day. Not just use Fubo for Utah Hockey Club games, but you watch all the fun that happens on NHL Network as well. And I'm sure they'll be talking about the Utah Hockey Club at length during their inaugural season and all that. So, and that's where I get a lot of my information as well, is from the NHL Network. So that's my recommendation. But bear in mind, and this goes back to what I was about to talk about here, I think this is going to be a trial run in a lot of ways for what Seg wants to do for the fans as well, which is to provide their own little app, sort of their own little paid subscription-based streaming service. Remember, last episode of SLC Puck, we talked, or it was the last episode of the episode before, we talked about the television broadcast team that had been announced. We went through all their bios, got to know these fine folks and all that. But the last paragraph of this press release was, I thought, pretty enlightening, and it's funny that they left out some of these key details right here at the end, or they didn't leave it out, but they just left it at the end because I think this should have been the lead, to tell you the truth. And that's a little press release journalism term, the lead. That's like the opening paragraph. But again, there's some great information here. So Seg Media will produce and broadcast all non-nationally exclusive Utah Hockey Club games on Utah 16, which is owned by Scripps, like I said, and via a paid subscription-based streaming service, okay? And then it continues on. The full broadcast schedule, radio broadcast plan, and details of the Seg Media DTC, direct-to-consumer, streaming option for Utah Hockey Club will be announced in the coming weeks. So this was on September 4th. This was last week. So I think we'll see next week or maybe the week after an announcement being made about a Utah Hockey Club app. And what I'm predicting is actually an app that sort of combines what is Jazz Plus with the offerings for this Utah Hockey Club. Obviously, if you follow the Jazz here in Utah, you know that Smith Entertainment Group also does this kind of thing for the Jazz. They call it Jazz Plus, and it's a way for them to get Jazz games directly to consumers, DTC. And it sounds like they're going to do a similar thing for the Utah Hockey Club. And I've heard of other clubs doing this as well, and I'll look more into this later for future episodes. But as far as cost goes, and I'm sure that's going to be a question, I think you'll probably see this app come in at about $125 for the year. And the reason why I say that is because that's the cost for Jazz Plus. And because the NHL and the NBA both operate on an 82 game regular season schedule, I think it's fair to assume they'll probably price it the same. I bet they'll do like a combined rate. You can get like the super seg experience that, you can get both Jazz games and Utah Hockey Club games on this app, this unbelievable, crazy seg media app. I'm guessing $200 will get you Utah Hockey Club and Utah Jazz games for all of next season. That's my guess. That's what to expect. I know, again, and I'm predicting people to still ask, in the comments of the next episode, how do we watch the games? How are we going to watch this? I'm telling you, this is how you do it. So I would say, if you don't have DirecTV, you don't want to do Fubo, you don't want to pay $200 for the app or $125 or what it ends up being. I think the antenna option is a good way to go. I've looked on Amazon. I think you can get an antenna for about like $20-$30, and you just hook it up to the HDMI port in the back of your TV, slap it against the window, call it a day. I personally have not used one of these ever in my life. Maybe I'll do a bit of experimenting for you guys to see how it goes. But I would say there's plenty of options there, and I'm sure all these different things have different amenities at different price points, right? So the antenna is a great choice if you just care about the game. So if that's all you're interested in, that's probably the way to go. Fubo is great if you're interested in other sports. You want to get the NHL Network. That might be the way to go. And there's also DirecTV to look at as well. And I would say if you really, really want to get like the inside stuff, and you also happen to be a Jazz fan, and you're a big Jazz fan, you want the inside stuff from the team as well. Holding out for that app is probably the way to go. So lots of ways to do it, lots of ways to shake it out. But we'll talk just for a couple minutes here. Last episode, I talked about a couple of the divisional opponents for the Utah Hockey Club. Who did I talk about? What are their names? They're like big, the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche. Duh, of course. So today I'll tell you a little bit about the Nashville Predators and the Winnipeg Jets. Okay, so let's talk first about our friends over there in Tennessee. And I hear this all the time. Austin, you're the only 10 I see. And I got to tell you, I keep telling me that. I love hearing that joke. It's funny, and it makes me feel good. Nashville Predators, Smashville, obviously their nickname. And this is kind of an interesting team. I think we talked last time about the Dallas Stars being sort of the preseason media darlings. The Avalanche kind of having they had a gap year last year, we called it, and then they're kind of gearing up for another cup run this year, maybe next year as well. But the Nashville Predators probably had the splashiest offseason of any NHL team. And it's just simply put, they signed 3 of the best free agents on the market this year with Steven Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, and Brady Shea at defense. And so, what they did was they took a good team, a team that had played very well, had a winning percentage over .600, was in the playoffs as a wild card team. They were eliminated though. They were knocked out by the Vancouver Canucks. But, this team went from being like what was a good team that overachieved last year. And I'm getting this information, by the way, from the Hockey News, my hockey publication of choice. And I'm not just saying that because they paid me a couple of dollars to write the season preview. That is partially why I'm saying it, but there's also a lot of great information here. So pick one up and carry it with you at all times, I would say, on the off chance that you run into me at Costco. I would be happy to autograph that section for you. So just carry this around with a Sharpie. Look for me at Costco. I'd be happy to sign it. If anyone does that, by the way, wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be fun? That would make me really happy. I would really enjoy that. But yeah, so Nashville, great team. The story on them, they were kind of like, people were like, what is this team? Where are they at? They went on a crazy run in February last year. They went on an 18-game point streak. They went 16-0-2 during an 18-game stretch. And that sort of vaulted them into the playoff standings. And that got kind of the management thinking, all right, this is a good team. Let's push all the chips in right now, really go for it in free agency, and try to win a freaking Stanley Cup, for crying out loud. They've never won a Stanley Cup in Nashville. So it looks like this team is geared up to win and win now. Some of these guys maybe are just leaving the prime of their career, like Stamkos, Marchessault, sort of a little bit on the older end of their careers, into their on the other side of 30, we'll say. But again, this is going to be a really interesting team to watch, and it's going to be a lot of. I feel like a lot of times you see teams in the NBA and the NHL and in Major League Baseball. The Seattle Mariners, my favorite baseball team, have done this to me many times, where they'll make a splash in the offseason. It never pans out the way you think it would. And I think that might be the story here for the Nashville Predators. We'll see how that goes. They're predicted to finish third in the Central, however, and be a playoff team as well. But we'll move over to the other team. And again, this is an interesting division. There's a lot of teams that have some interesting storylines to them. And again, big help to the Hockey News for helping me get acquainted with all these guys. And the other team we need to talk about today is the Winnipeg Jets. And the thing you got to know about the Winnipeg Jets is they are anchored by probably the best goaltender in hockey right now with Connor Hellebuyck. And last year he won the Vezina Award as a trophy as the NHL's best goalkeeper. Defensively, they were very solid. They were the second best defensive team in the NHL with a goals against average of 2.41. Weren't very good on the power play and weren't great on the penalty kill. Offense is kind of middle of the road, and I think if they get a little bit more punch on offense, that'll be necessary. They're guys to watch. There are Mark Shafali and Kyle Connor, excuse me, with Josh Morrissey sort of being a very unheralded defender who can do it all, but doesn't get the same kind of attention as Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes and guys of that caliber. But the other thing to know about Connor Hellebuyck, and his name's weird because he's got an E in the middle of that, so it looks like it should be Hellebuyck, but I think I think I just said it right actually. Hellebuyck. Yeah, I think I don't pronounce names right all the time. It's my biggest pitfall. I do a lot of things pretty well, but pronouncing names is not one of them. But I think what was interesting about him was just how much worse off he was in the playoffs. He did not play very well against Colorado last year. I believe he gave up like 7 goals in game 2 of their opening round season. They were bounced in 5 games by the Avalanche. So he's got to get better in the postseason. It's kind of one of those things. You can have a dominant regular season. You can win trophies. You can win Vezina Awards. You can be a Jennings Award winner. You can be a Hart Award trophy winner. But it don't mean a thing if you don't get that ring in the postseason. And those of us here in Utah who watched Karl Malone have MVP seasons and then absolutely wilt in the NBA Finals know exactly what that's like. So that's just a look there at the Winnipeg Jets. Again, those are two teams that are going to be kind of interesting. They're not predicted to be near the top like the Stars and the Avalanche are, but those are also the two teams that are directly behind them and in front of the Utah Hockey Club when it comes to the projected standings in the Central Division. So I thought it'd be interesting to get a look at them. And once these guys get going in the season, we'll talk more to sort of preview matchups and look back at the week it were. It's exciting. It's like this. I'm telling myself, Austin, this is why you started the show. My goal was to do 50 episodes before the start of the season. I'm not going to get there, but we're getting there. This is like where it gets fun. The season's going to be here. I'm excited to see what SLC Puck's coverage looks like, how it shakes out. I'm planning on maybe getting Fubu to make sure that I'm watching all the games and consuming as much content as possible. It's fun. This is it. All right. The next time we talk on Sunday, a team representing the Utah Hockey Club will have taken the ice, and we'll have some things to say about that. Will TJ suit up? How many goals will they allow against Macklin Celebrini? What are the boys doing for fun while they're in LA? Are they going to Universal Studios? Are they going to Disneyland? All that good stuff. Well, that's what we're going to talk about on SLC Puck. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, buy some merch. Get ready, people. Get ready to have fun. We're getting there. This is what it's all about. And now we're 40 episodes in. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll see you later.